Hello everyone, and welcome back to Steins Gate Zero. I'm G, and last time was actually close to 2 months ago for me, just because everything in my life kind of went upside down for a bit. But yeah, we're back, and last time, Hyajo was taken by the professor and by, what's her name? Reyes. And now the bad things are probably going to happen, and the professor's bad, question mark, and Reyes is probably bad, or maybe they're just operating under the thumb of the US government, because, who knows? But anyways, let's get started. It was almost July. The rainy season hadn't been that bad this year, and what little remained of it had already disappeared. Temperature-wise, summer had come a long time ago. Summer. In other words, it had almost been a year since it happened. And then one Saturday afternoon, if I stayed home, not only would it be hot, but Dad would be on my case about helping with the family business. To get away, I'd come to the area around Ikebukuro Station. A year ago, I could have gone to the lab, but with Suzuha living there now, I'd mostly stopped going. But that meant that it was hard to find a place to study on my days off. It was too much trouble to go to the university, and the classrooms probably weren't open on weekends anyways. After a lot of research, I'd settled on spending my free days visiting this cafe near my parents' home and spending a few hours there. In fact, a lot of the other patrons did the same thing I did, buying a single cup of coffee and sitting there for hours on end. Some brought books, some brought computers. I chuckled to myself as I realized I had joined the ranks of the other normies. Oh.
Where are you now? Oh, the usual cafe, right? I just went to your place and you weren't home.
You did? Did my dad make a nuisance of himself again?
It's okay, he gave me some barley tea. I have to go shopping. Will you come with me?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'll leave now. Wait for me.
So they went to my house. My family's business was called Okabe Greengrocer. It was a beat-up old store located in a rundown shopping street. The place was almost 40 years old. I really wanted them to rebuild it. My mind had wandered. My area was going to be here in less than 15 minutes, so maybe it was time to call it a day. I'd worked pretty hard during the morning, so it wasn't too bad. I was a little surprised at how hard I'd been working lately. I could feel how having a goal gave me energy. I needed to get to Victor Condria University as soon as I could. Victor Condria University. Since I was still testing Amadeus, I'd kept in touch with Maho via email and online chat. She must have been working hard because she was always sleepy. And then my phone started to vibrate. Hello? What? Why is your voice so low? Shh, I'm in a cafe right now. Please, don't call me when I'm busy with stuff.
I have no way to know when you are or what you're doing. Or do you want me watching you 24 hours a day? You're saying you want me observing you while you sleep or while you're taking a bath? You're quite the pervert, aren't you?
I'm sorry.
If you don't want to talk to me when I call you, just don't pick up. Don't get mad about something like that.
That's true.
Well, it looks like you're busy now, so I'll do what you want and hang up. You're right, it's probably pretty weird for the rest of the cafe to see you talking to a 3D model of girl on your phone.
Come on.
I'm kidding. You always take the time to talk to me and, well, I'm grateful.
We can talk about that some other time. I'm hanging up.
Hey, wait!
Percy always talked so much. The real one used to talk a lot too. Talking to her in a place like this always drew a lot of attention and made me feel awkward. Looking at a screen and talking was embarrassing, was all. So I'd once proposed that I talk to her like I was on a normal phone. And this is what she said. Why do I have to stare at a close-up of the side of your head? She really was a selfish little program. Mayuri and I met up and head for Tokyo Hands. When I stepped inside the air-conditioned store, I felt refreshed. It was this hot in June, I shuddered to think that it was going to be like in July or August. So what are you going to buy?
We're gonna make some signs for advertising, so I need poster board and highlighters and stuff.
Are you going to put out a book at this year's Komi, Ma?
Nope, it's for Alchemy Greengrocer.
Huh? What'd you say? My family business.
When I went to your house today, I talked to your dad about it. He said that Mayushi would make them for him.
Wait, seriously? My dad could be such a jerk. There's really no reason you have to do that.
But Mayushi wants to do it.
You're sure?
Your mom and dad are always so nice to me.
Okay, I'll get you something as a thank you present then.
Really? That makes me so happy.
I took a quick look around and saw that they were selling a lot of things you could use for advertising. I decided to mostly leave the purchasing decisions up to Mayuri. She spent quite a while deciding what to buy. But, well, maybe because of all the time she spent at May Queen Nyanyan, her taste ran in the direction of cute and anime. Part of me thought it was dangerous to leave it up to her. But still, they'd asked her, not me. It wasn't any of my business. I should just leave it to her. And so I decided to wander around the store while Mayuri finished her shopping. But I looked down at the screen, and it was from Kurisu. What's up?
Are you out shopping?
Yeah, with Mayuri.
Oh, a date?
Mainstream woman.
I've told you to stop calling me that.
And stop assuming everything is about romance.
Right, fine. But isn't Mayuri cute? You're lucky to have such a cutie as your childhood friend.
You're right.
Maho doesn't stand a chance at this rate. She's not as cute, she's not as young, she's shorter, and her boobs are just hopeless. Oh, I feel so bad for her.
If you say that in front of Hyajo, she'll delete your program.
You know, you haven't actually introduced me to Mayuri. You've got quite a few friends, but you've never told any of them about me.
It's a secrecy thing. I'm not supposed to tell people about you.
Is that really all it is? You actually don't want people seeing me talk to you, do you?
It's not true. If you really want me to introduce you, I'll get permission from Hyajo. I'll start by introducing you to Daru, the man I trust the most. He'd just love to talk to you.
He'll stare at me with his filthy eyes, constantly panting after me 24 hours a day. Right. Perverts scare me.
Kurisu went pale and started to shake. I told Kurisu all kinds of things about what kind of person Daru was. You could easily imagine what would happen if she ever fell into his clutches.
Never mind, you don't have to introduce me to anyone. I'll just keep telling myself that I'm lucky to have you to talk to. Okay.
Mayuri walked over carrying a shopping basket.
Huh? Who are you talking to?
Oh, I looked down at my phone. Kurisu had disappeared and my smartphone was back at its home screen. Evidently, Kurisu had hung up. Another student from school.
I see.
I knew I didn't have to hide Kurisu, but at the same time, Mayuri was the one person I didn't want finding out. She knew that I'd failed to save Kurisu Makise last summer. Did you decide what you're going to buy?
Oh yeah, what do you think about this?
The basket was filled with heart and star-shaped cardstock. This didn't really go with our store's look. I decided when I started, I was going to let Mayuri make the decisions. Dad might complain later, but I didn't care. He was the one who asked Mayuri to help, not me. And so I went over to the register. Since it was a Saturday, the checkout area was overflowing with shopping carts. Since it was going to take a while, I sent Mayuri to browse the toy section on another floor. I knew they'd have some stuff from one of her favorite shows, right at Kakadu. Mayuri looked apologetic, but did what I told her to. In the end, I waited a whole 15 minutes at the register. As an apology, I decided to get the present I'd promised her. She seemed really happy as she stared at the keychain. It was Upa, the mascot character from the Rainet Kakadu series. I told her when she went over to the toy section she could pick out anything she wanted, and this is what she chose. You seem pretty happy about that given how many Upas you already have. That's a regular green Upa, right? Not the rare one. The rare one? You mean the metal Upa? The most popular and rarest of the Upas was the shiny silver metal Upa. For example, whenever there was a lottery for rare Rainet Kakadu stuff at the convenience stores, the top prize was always a metal upa. Mayuri had told me once that they sold for tens of thousands of yen at auction. For some reason, Mayuri was wagging her finger at me.
Nope. It's a green upa, but it's not a regular one. This is a green fairy upa that was in the movie they just released.
Come to think of it, there had been a Rainet Kakadu movie out in spring. And Mayuri sat in a theater full of little kids to watch it. The Green Fairy?
Is it okay if I spoil the movie?
Go ahead, I'm not gonna go see it.
In this movie, it's about a fight with an evil super hacker in the virtual world. The virtual world is a forest where the fairies live. Mr. Super Hacker is really strong, and Kakadu and Upa are in big trouble, but just when they're about to lose, the fairies come to save them. And it turns out that the fairies are actually the flowers in the skull garden that he'd always taken care of. They came all the way to the virtual world to save Kakadu, and then there was this big shiny light, and then they combined with Upa. And that's Green Fairy Upa. He's really cute and really strong. Miishi thought it was so great. I love stories like that. The director's a genius.
I see. It was rare for Mayuri to get this excited about something. I took a closer look and saw that the design was a little different from the standard Upa. I didn't know a lot about Upas, so I couldn't say exactly what was different.
I've actually been spending a lot of time looking for this keychain. It's really popular, so it's sold out everywhere. I never would have thought Hans would have one.
You were pretty lucky, huh?
Yep, and it was the last one. I'm glad I came today. I need to thank you and your dad.
Mayuri took the tag off the keychain, got her house key out of her bag, and carefully attached it.
Hey, Ocarine, Miishi will treasure this forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, please do. Make sure you don't lose it in 5 minutes after you get it. It happened before, after all. Like the metal Upa I'd won for her at the radio building. Mayuri had lost it no more than 5 minutes after I gave it to her. I'd wondered if she had ever found it. I didn't really want to remember that time in my life, so my memory of what happened to the metal Upa was vague.
Yep, I'm never gonna lose it again.
The two of us started to head back.
I'm gonna work hard and make the ads for your shop, okay?
Oh yeah, you've still gotta do that. I've been thinking the job was done once we bought the materials. The real work actually began now. Did I help too?
No, I'm fine. Believe Miishi.
I'm a little worried after you tried to buy heart-shaped card stock.
It's fine.
Well, it's nice of you to make them at all, so I won't complain.
Oh, I need to call Mom. I'll tell her that I'll be home for dinner.
Why not at my place? I'm sure either Mom or Dad will try to get you to stay anyway.
I don't know. Are you gonna stay at home the rest of today? You won't go to any singles parties?
I haven't been to any lately. Last fall, when I've been trying to become a normal college kid, I'd forced myself to go to as many as possible. But lately I'd been so busy with my studies that I hadn't had a chance.
I see. Then maybe I will.
Mary took out her phone and started to type something when... her expression suddenly darkened. She stopped moving. What's wrong?
I just got a message from Kaede. I didn't notice it. What should I do, Ocarine?
Mary seemed like she was on the verge of tears. Did something happen?
Hey, Ocarine? You told me before that Fubuki's not sick, right?
Fubuki? You mean Nakase? Not Kurishima, right?
Yeah, is that true? She's really not sick?
Yeah, I don't think so.
What?
Mary showed me her phone. Fubuki's back in the hospital. I'm on my way. Here's the location. She's back in the hospital? I couldn't believe what I was seeing on the screen. Fubuki was at a different location than before. This time it was the AH Tokyo General Hospital High-Tech Medical Center in Yoyogi. It was supposedly one of Japan's most advanced hospitals. According to what I read on the internet, patients with the new encephalitis that everyone was talking about were being gathered here for special treatment. I'd also read lots of really bad urban legends about this place, and I was a bit worried about what kind of horror show I'd find here. But of course, when we arrived, it was nothing like that. It was very clean and decorated like a luxury hotel.
Mayuri, Okarin. This way.
Kaede and Yuki waved at us as we entered the lobby. Yuki had gotten a message from Kaede as well, and had evidently come right over.
Prince Fubuki. He's fine.
Yuki gave Mayuri a soft hug and a smile. Kaede bowed her head apologetically.
Sorry to scare you. I was kind of in a hurry myself. I should have checked more carefully before I messaged you.
What do you mean? How's Nakase doing?
I just met her mom in the hospital room and it doesn't look like her illness has gotten any worse.
Then they've just brought her here for more examinations or something.
Yes, that's what they said. There's nothing to worry about. I'm so glad.
Ray looked extremely relieved as Yuki continued to hug her. If I remembered right, the last time they examined her, they said it was possible she had the disease, but as long as it didn't get worse, it wouldn't affect her daily life. They just told her to come back for regular checkups. The new encephalitis had arrived in Japan over 6 months ago, but the number of patients was still increasing. Fortunately, there hadn't been a single casualty yet. I'm pretty sure that's no illness, though. I was certain that what they were calling encephalitis was actually something similar to reading Steiner. One time when I went to visit Fubuki in the hospital, I had secretly investigated the other patients. I wasn't able to get any proof, but I found out most of the patients in her wing had, to varying degrees, memories of the same world line. Many people had memories of Japan at war.
Can we see Fubuki? They said they're doing an MRI to look at her brain right now, so she's not in her room. I see. But it'll be done soon. Fubuki's mom told us to wait here.
Kaede motioned to Mayuri, indicating she should sit down at a nearby sofa.
Once the exam is done, she's going to come get us.
I let the girl sit down on the sofa and stood next to them while I surveyed the lobby.
It's an amazing hospital, isn't it?
Yeah. Is Nakase's family really rich or something, if she's staying in a place like this?
No, that's not it. His mom says that the Japanese and American governments are paying for a new treatment project. It's going to be centered around this lab and a dedicated hospital in America, supposedly.
You see, I wasn't sure how I felt about that. If I was right about what this disease really was, it was hard to imagine a bigger waste of money. Please, give all the patients private rooms, and try to keep the rooms as far apart from one another as possible to ensure the patients don't come into contact.
But there aren't that many open rooms!
You need to do it anyway. If the patients talk to each other, they'll start to share the dreams, right?
Sure, that's true, but...
Once a person hears about someone else's dream, their brain can trick them into thinking they had that dream as well. Across the lobby, I saw an old Japanese doctor in a white coat and a big man in a suit, who was frantically trying to talk to him. Oh! I'd seen the man in the suit before. Actually, it was a man I knew well. Professor! Professor Leskinen! I hurried over. Dr. Leskinen, it's me, Okabe! He must have been wearing his translator because he was communicating with the old doctor in Japanese. Dr. Leskinen's face quickly broke into a smile when he saw me. Oh, Lintalo. His voice was so loud that everyone in the lobby, doctors, nurses, staff, and even the patients turned to look at me. Dr. Leskinen didn't seem to notice them as he ran over. He was like a giant American football player racing for a touchdown. Wait, Professor! Stop! My cries went unheard as Dr. Leskinen tackled me and then pulled me up. Then he switched from football player to pro wrestler and he swung me up and down. I felt like I was a little child. There was nothing I could do to resist him as he flung me around. A moment later, he noticed the cold stares of the people around us and finally released me. Oh my, I'm sorry. I was so surprised, I got a little too excited. Dr. Leskinen bowed to the people around him in apology. Dr. Leskinen, who is this young man? The doctor that Professor Leskinen had been talking to was staring at me suspiciously. Oh, well, I wasn't sure exactly what to tell him. It wasn't like he was really my professor. Seemed to be a student. Which school are you with, if you're studying brain science like the professor? No, He'll be a student at Victor Condria this September. I'm planning on having him come to my lab. Huh?
I see. Mitochondria University, eh? That's a surprise.
I looked over at Dr. Leskinen questioningly, but he just gave me a mischievous smile. This guy. He really was such a kid.
It's very rare for a Japanese student to be able to go there. I'm impressed.
Thanks. After the doctor left, I sighed loudly enough for Professor Leskinen to hear me. So, who was that guy?
The director of this hospital.
The director? You just told a lie to someone that important?
Oh, did I lie? I said you'd be a student starting in September, but I didn't mean this September. Or what? You think you don't have what it takes to make it to my school in the end? That's a little unfortunate, but...
It really was like a little kid, completely shameless. But still, it was hard to hate him. I'm surprised, though. I had no idea you were in Japan. It had been 5 months since I'd seen him off at Narita.
Maho's here too.
Really? She didn't say a word about it. I talked to her often via email and video chat, mostly about Amadeus' testing, but she hadn't said a word about coming to Japan. I hadn't heard anything about it from Kurisu either.
We're back in the same office at Wako City. Come by any time you'd like, and bring Kurisu. I told them to find us a different place after we got robbed last time, but...
Dr. Leskinen looked up toward the ceiling and shrugged. It did feel like that place had security issues.
Are you not feeling well, Lintalo? Did you come here for treatment?
Oh, no, I'm here to visit a friend.
Oh, I see. That's good. Well, it's not good for your friend. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. So what are you doing at a Japanese hospital? Dr. Leskinen brought his face close to mine and whispered so that the people around us couldn't hear him.
Heard about the new encephalitis cases, right? The American government asked our psychophysiology lab to look into it, but they've hit a roadblock. The university ordered me to help with the investigation.
I see, so you're helping with the new encephalitis cases. Now there was a word I didn't expect to hear. I explained that my friend was here because they thought she might have the disease.
Your friend named Katsumi Nakase, perhaps?
Oh yeah, you met her at the Christmas party, didn't you?
That's right, my interest in this new disease started with that party, you see. Both you and Katsumi collapsed, right?
He was right, actually. In my case, I'd been sent to that other world line.
I met up with her again several days ago. She demanded to know why she was being sent back to the hospital when she was just fine.
I see.
Would you tell her it would make me happy if she was a bit more cooperative?
Ah.
I actually feel really bad for both her and all the other patients. We and the Japanese team are doing what we can, but we just don't understand the results we're getting.
Dr. Leskinen's usually chipper expression darkened. The man was such a ball of vitality that I hadn't noticed until then, but when his smile disappeared I could see the wrinkles that had formed in his face from exhaustion. He must have been working hard, like he said.
To be honest, none of the doctors thought we'd have this much trouble explaining it at the start. What's wrong, Lintalo?
Oh, well...
Is there something wrong?
No. I'm not a medical student, so that is all outside my expertise. I was just about to tell him about my reading Steiner. But in the end, I couldn't. If my uninformed opinion was wrong, it could cost the encephalitis patients their lives. I couldn't just tell him when I didn't have any proof. And then his face drew close to mine again.
By the way, Katsumi was saying something very interesting. She said something about not being sick, about how she was actually experiencing another world in her dreams.
I told her not to say anything about it. Could she not help it? This was bad. I might start to doubt her sanity. Well, Nakase's got a very vivid imagination, maybe. She loves sci-fi and anime. She probably just said she has the power to experience parallel worlds because she saw it on some show somewhere. I remember that I used to say stuff like that. I tried my best to come up with excuses, but Dr. Leskinen still seemed concerned.
But still, I was really surprised when I started participating in the treatment project. One of the strange things about this illness is that many patients share the same dreams. I'm assuming it's similar to a mass hallucination. But what do you think? I've never seen this before. From a brain science perspective, I just don't have the answer right now. To be honest, unscientific is the word that seems the best fit. Like parallel worlds or memories of past life, you know?
I see.
It would help if you talked to Katsumi too. There are some things you can't say to a doctor, but that you'll tell your friends.
Sure, I'll ask her, I guess.
So Lintelo, that aside, I have a question for you.
Dr. Leskinen was looking over my shoulder.
I got a sense of this at the Christmas party. Your girlfriends really are cute, aren't they?
Huh? I turned around and saw that Mayuri, Kaede, and Yuki had all stood up from the sofa and were looking at me. When they saw Dr. Leskinen was looking at them, they waved.
So are any of these girls involved with you right now? Yuki, Kaede, Mayuri, Ruka, or maybe Katsumi?
What? His words were so surprising I couldn't think of anything to say. Maho would often call this middle-aged man a mischievous boy, and that was exactly the look he had on his face.
No, I won't force you to tell me. I don't want to pry into your private life. But well, I hope you have something to tell my favorite student.
Dr. Leskinen turned to walk away before I could figure out what he meant.
Alright, Lintelo, I've got to talk to the director a little more, so I'll be going. Love to go around to all those girls and give them a hug too, but I'll save that for next time. Tell them I said hello.
Oh, sure. Mayuri and the others came over to me as I watched him go.
Is that Dr. Leskinen? Yeah, I knew I'd seen him somewhere before. I thought he'd gone back to America. Oh, Green?
There was no way I could tell the girls what Dr. Leskinen and I were just talking about. After Fubuki's exam was over, we went to her room and listened to her complain, and then the visit was over. Just like Dr. Leskinen had said, she looked just fine. She told us she was ready to leave the hospital and jog all the way home. Mayuri and the others were relieved, but I felt worried. Did I need to talk to Dr. Leskinen about reading Steiner after all? How would I explain it? Might be a better idea to talk to Maho and have her explain it to him. I couldn't come to an answer right away. It was a very hot day in 1998 when Suzaha said goodbye to Kagari Shina. She'd gone to get food and water from a local store, and when she came back and opened the hatch, Kagari was inside, screaming.
Come on, how does this stupid thing work?
She looked inside and saw that Kagari was slamming her tiny hands down on the control console.
What are you doing?
Kagari shrank back when she saw Suzaha.
I'm not... This isn't what it looks like.
Answer me.
But... I woke up and you were gone and it was dark and the lights wouldn't turn on. It's so cramped and scary in here. I tried to open the door. Then when I was fiddling with it, this happened.
Kagari started to cry.
Sorry, big sis Suzaha. I'm sorry, but I was really scared.
I see. Suzaha relaxed her guard. Kagari had PTSD from her time as a war orphan, and she hadn't fully recovered yet. Mayuri had once told her that she got very frightened in dark and cramped places. It would make sense if waking up in the dark caused a panic attack. And the time machine could only function with Suzaha's biometric authorization. Someone of Kagari's size wouldn't be able to break the console either.
Passed out from the shock of time travel, so I wanted to let you get some rest. I'm sorry.
Suzaha grabbed one of Kagari's tiny hands to help her up, and then led her outside the machine.
Wow, it's so hot. Kagari, promise me that you won't touch the switches on the control console no matter what, okay? Okay. I'm going to get started. You go and rest. Have some food and water if you want.
Suzaha handed Kagari the provisions she'd bought, then went inside and poked her head into the cargo space under the control console. She connected the IBM 5100 she stored there to a portable terminal that she'd brought from the future. By all appearances, it was an early 2000s cell phone, but inside it was a miniaturized quantum computer from the year 2036. Of course, Fuchadaru had made it himself. When she booted up the IBM 5100, rows of numbers started to appear on the screen.
What are you doing?
Kagari was looking in from outside the machine.
Did you study the year 2000 problem? I studied a little at the orphanage. In the end, nothing happened, right? That's what everybody thinks. It wasn't made public, but at the time, a lot of places in a lot of countries had serious problems because of it. Really? The issue was this computer, the IBM 5100. It's got an old programming language on it, and the engineers weren't able to fix the program. In fact, they didn't even know that an important program existed that was written in this language. The race to develop the time machine was the beginning of the Third World War, but there's a chance that something that happened during the year 2000 problems and the divisions that resulted from that were the deeper cause.
She didn't expect a 10-year-old like Kagari to understand this, but she didn't feel like taking the time to explain.
And the year 2000 is a special year, you see. All the world lines temporarily converge here. This means that it's possible the year 2000 problem has a huge effect on all the world lines. The world line is the gap that we're trying to reach. Steins Gate is no exception.
She looked down at the terminal connected to the IBM 5100.
So there's a patch program to keep the year 2000 program from ever happening.
Right now, the terminal was converting the patch into the language used by the IBM 5100. The next step was to spread this program all around the world in the form of a virus, and the year 2000 problems that this era's engineers missed would completely disappear. The word connect appeared on the terminal subscreen.
Okay, it's connected.
She'd been told that in Japan in this era, ADSL was still in the test phase and most normal users connected to the internet by low-speed dial-up using ISDN. But in major city areas like Akihabara, universities, labs, and some big computer companies were starting to use fiber optic broadband. Some of them were even using wireless LANs. Suzuha cracked her way into one of those. Dad had laughed when he'd said that with 2036 technology, cracking late 20th century network security was a joke, but he'd been right.
But if you change the future, won't that change the world we were in?
Surprisingly, Kagari had gotten the gist of what Suzuha had just told her.
That's right. I refuse to let that world exist any longer, so I've come here to reach Steins Gate.
Suddenly, the uneasy look on Kagari's face vanished. It was as if her soul had left its body. Suddenly, her face was expressionless, and her eyes were wide.
Voice. I can hear God's voice.
Kagari?
You can't do that. It's not right. You can't do that, Big Sis Suzuha. You can't.
Huh? Kagari was acting strangely. Suspiciously, Suzuha reached her hand out towards her. But she slipped past Suzuha's hand. Quicker than any child should be able to move, she slammed her shoulder straight into Suzuha's body. Suzuha was caught completely off guard. That's how fast it was. Kagari's shoulder hit her in the solar plexus.
Yeah!
She bent over and collapsed onto the seat. Kagari tore the terminal out of Suzuha's hands. Cables connecting it to the IBM 5100 were ripped out and errors displayed on both screens.
What are you doing?
Kagari didn't answer the question. Instead, she grabbed the backpack that Suzuha had placed on the seat and spilled its contents onto the floor. There were MREs, spare parts, clothes, and a semi-automatic pistol. Suzuha couldn't believe it. Kagari was going to try and pick it up.
Stop it!
She forced herself to ignore the pain as she jumped on Kagari's body. But another unbelievably powerful body slam knocked her back. Something cold was pushed up right against her brow.
Don't move!
Kagari's tiny hands weren't shaking at all as they clutched the semi-automatic pistol. In the space of an instant, the safety on the gun had been flipped off. That's when Suzuha realized that this wasn't just a temper tantrum. Suzuha was the one who taught her how to use a gun. That's why she knew that Kagari was perfectly calm.
Are you insane? Put the gun down now! Stop doing this! You're the one who needs to stop. What? You can't change the world! You're not making sense!
There was no hesitation in her eyes. Instead, Suzuha saw only resolve.
You want the war to happen then? I don't know anything about that. I just want to go back to my old world. And That's never going to happen. We've already used the time machine to interfere with the past. The world line's changed. There's almost no chance we can go back. Shut up! Shut up! I'm going to save Mommy! Can't erase this world, I won't let you!
Kaguri turned the gun towards the IBN 5100.
Stop!
Before Suzuha could stop her, she yanked down on the trigger. Again and again.
Stop it, Kaguri! Please stop!
And then Kaguri jumped out of the time machine, and Suzuha never saw her again. On every night that passed, she remembered Kaguri. Suzuha had spent some time looking for Kaguri when she'd first come to this era, but in the end, she'd never found anything. But Kaguri Shina, who was now 22 years old, was here in Akihabara. Suzuha was sure of it. But it did no good to keep thinking about it. So Suzuha decided to stop thinking and look around the room. Itaru, her dad, was playing yet another game populated entirely with female characters. His jaw was slack, and he was scratching the belly fat that stuck out from under his shirt as he played. There wasn't much to respect in him right now, either as a father or as a person.
I'm to think of it. How are things with Mom? Is everything okay? I'm still gonna be born, right?
Oh, well, is that more important than the time machine?
Hey!
Suzuha stormed over to Itaru.
You can't screw this up, Dad.
Yeah, Daddy's gonna do his best, okay?
All you ever do is talk. You even wasted those movie tickets we gave you, didn't you?
She meant the pair of movie tickets that Myri and Ferris had conspired to give them at the Christmas party.
That was because Okuri and Miss Fubuki collapsed, you know? You were so busy with hospital visits and stuff that the movie left the theater. It's not like it's my fault.
I heard that when they tried to give you new tickets, you turned them down.
Who told you that?
Big Sis Maya and Big Sis Rumi, obviously.
That's because, you know, it's not very manly to make those two do all the work, is it?
Did you go and do something yourself? This isn't gonna work.
Maybe this was a lot more important problem than the time machine. Suzuha brought her hands up to her head.
Listen, Dad, I'm not gonna be around to lecture you like this forever, okay? I'm leaving soon.
Oh. Suddenly there was a sad look in Itaru's eyes.
Don't make that face. Promise I'd stop worrying about it.
For the past 6 months, Suzuha had been thinking about whether it was really right to erase this world. But in the end, it was none other than Itaru who'd pushed her to go ahead.
I'm sorry.
She couldn't bear to see her father so depressed, so she patted his broad back.
Don't just sit there and be glum. Send Mom a message and see if she's free sometime. If she is, invite her to a movie.
That's way too sudden.
I don't care if it's sudden or not. Do it anyway, okay? This is an order.
An order?
What's your answer?
Sir, yes, sir!
Satisfied, she headed off to take a shower.
Oh, but before that, I'm gonna hit the convenience store. Don't glare at me like that. I eat as healthy as I can, so please forgive me.
Vanilla.
Huh?
I want ice cream when I'm done with my shower. Vanilla ice cream.
Okay, I'll go buy you a lot of really cool top shelf stuff.
Doesn't have to be a lot. Just one thing is fine.
Sir, yes, sir.
That was enough to cheer Daru up. He took his wallet and ran out of the lab.
He's such a handful.
And I think that there's a pretty good place to cut it. This is interesting. I kind of expected everything to go really poorly as soon as we had that last ending thing with Reyes and all that. Whatever. Expected it to be a lot worse, but hey, this is working out pretty nicely, so I'm not going to complain. But for now, thank you all so much for following my playthrough of Steins Gate Zero, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.